Welcome back to another video, guys. I tried to record this earlier, however it was so hot outside the camera turned itself off because of heat reasons. But let's go ahead and jump into today's video, which is 10 Q&A questions about my Mustang. So these are questions that I've gotten from online people, as well as just questions that I've gotten from just people I know in day-to-day basis, that people know me in person that have asked me. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Number one, why not an Ecoboost? Believe it or not, the first Mustang I drove was an Ecoboost, and it was a 2017 light blue Ecoboost with a black stripe on it, with two black stripes on it. And I drove it at the Ford dealership. I liked it. However, when looking around, I like how a V6 sounds more than a four-cylinder. Regardless of if the four-cylinder has a turbo or not, I like personally how a V6 sounds more than a four-cylinder. So that's why I wound up going with it. They just sound more aggressive and better in my opinion. Number two, are there any mods currently done to your Mustang? Believe it or not, there are. There's only two at the current given time, but there will be more in the future. Number one is it has a drop-in K&N air filter. Number two, it actually has a 5-star tuning 87 tune, as well as a 91 tune, as well as a 93 tune. So those are the current mods only done on my car. I don't believe there's any other mods done on my car. No, unless you include like phone mount, which I don't include because you can remove that. Number three, why an S550 body style and not an S197? Believe it or not, S550 styles are not actually the biggest around here. S197s are bigger known around here than S550s. So you don't really see a lot of S550s around here. Yes, S197s are a lot lighter than S550s, but the other big thing is because they're bought so much around here, the S197s, there is literally almost like none to buy around here. As soon as one becomes available, somebody immediately picks it up immediately when it comes down to it. And personally, I feel like the S550s they look a little bit better just stock-wise. Now, don't get me wrong, an S197 looks really good if it has certain things on it, but just in my personal opinion, an S550 stock-wise just looks better in my opinion. I'll post over the screen like an example of an S197 that looks really good. Number four, thing you hate the most. The thing actually that I hate the most about my Mustang is the fact being that it has paddle shifters. So I can't shift it with the shifter if I drive it in manual mode, which by the way, for people wondering, it's automatic. Number five, why did you not get a V8? This is the number one question I've gotten asked about this, and simply comes down to it is cost and the fact that I'm perfectly fine with a V6. I don't need a bunch of horsepower underneath my car like a V8. The car does what I want it to. I can put my foot down to have a little bit of fun every once in a while, and you know, I like the sound of a V6. Personally, I really do like the sound of a V6. Maybe later on in the future, I will upgrade to a V8. We'll have to see. But when it comes down to it, it just comes down to cost. For instance, my V6, you can pick up anywhere from about $15,000 to $16,000 versus a V8, the lowest cost V8 around here where I live. Anything that's a S550 or any from 2014, even 2014. I believe I was looking at recently about 2-3 days ago, a 2014 V8 is about $25,000 or $23,000 when it comes to just used car lots around here. So it's insane when you look around here. Number six, which is is there any current problems with the car? Believe it or not, there is not at this exact time any current problems with the car. There was the water pump that went out that we had replaced, as well as the battery when I first got the car, but I didn't know it was bad because they never let me look on the hood. Yes, I know that's a bad buying decision that you can't do that, but I did use an OBD scanner to determine that there was nothing actually wrong with the car at the time of the purchase. Number seven, which is better, the Mini or the Mustang? Now, this is a big giant thing for me, as I absolutely love Mini Coopers as well as Volkswagen Beetles, and also at the same time like my Mustang. When it comes down to it, personally, I say for a daily driver and just me driving the car, I would go with personally the Mustang. The reason why being is a Mustang costs a lot less than a Mini Cooper, as well as mostly all of the mechanics around here know how to work on a Ford, whereas none of the mechanics around here know how to work on a Mini unless they're from the direct dealership. Next after that is how much horsepower do you currently have pushing out of your car? Standard, my car runs about, I think it's 300 horsepower or 305, and then with the tunes added and the drop in the air filter, I think that adds it to about 310, or the maximum running 93 and everything, I think it pushes us to about 315. About 315. Somewhere close to about 310, 315, somewhere within that range. Number nine, turbo or supercharger? I would go with a supercharger. I personally like how a supercharger sounds compared to a turbo. I have ridden in cars that have turbos, I've been in cars that have turbos, and I've driven cars that have turbos. And personally, just from my personal opinion, I like how a supercharger sounds. Number 10, if you could get any different color car, what color would it be? Don't get me wrong, I love my black on black Mustang and I love how it looks. However, when it comes down to it, in my personal opinion, I would have got a light blue with 2 black stripes down the middle of it. It would have looked amazing and I would have absolutely loved it. Finally, just as a bonus question here, as the number 1 question, this literally is the number 1 question I get asked besides the fact of it being a V8, why did you not buy a manual? Well, simply put, I know how to drive a manual, not to the best ability, but I do know how to drive a manual. But it's simple with the fact that even if I did know how to drive a manual, I wouldn't want it because you have no room to use a manual here. There is no room to absolutely use a manual at all whatsoever. There is literally red light to red light to red light. So if you buy a manual, you're just going to be sitting here messing with the clutch all day long. I don't have to worry about that. I could just put it in drive and go. And furthermore from that, I don't have to worry about missing gears on a car or having to worry about what other shit is happening at the same time. It's just, in my opinion, more stuff you have to do. You see what I'm getting at? Like, I realize, trust me, I have driven a manual before, and I actually like driving a manual. But when it comes down to it, I just like the easy. You just put it in drive, you just go. It's down to personal preference, in my personal opinion, and that's what it comes down to. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I'll see you guys next time.